one marker. You just had to do it, didn't you? Okay, hello. Huh?
I did.
Yeah, you just had to do that connection. Right? Hello, everybody. This is Jimmy, along with
MegaManDust.
and bringing you a special edition. Well, we haven't done it in a while, so I guess we were long overdue for a podcast. Unfortunately, decided to do one in after grim circumstances, as everybody knows. Mr. Satoru Iwata just passed away this last Saturday due to a, according to the press release, the official words that it was a growth on the bile ducts.
Bile ducts, yeah.
Yeah. Which are the, in case you don't know, I had to go actually Wikipedia to find out what the heck the bile does. I actually had an idea what it was, but obviously Spanish, my native tongue, but the bile ducts apparently are these ducts, part of the ducts that connect the stomach, the pancreas, and the liver, and they are also partly responsible for some of the digestive functions. And he had a growth there. I'm assuming it was cancerous. And yeah, sadly he passed away last Saturday.
I know. I found out about it actually. So today, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Monday at like 4 o'clock. I was checking Meverse, and Meverse was just blown up with all these awesome goodbyes to Mr. Iwata, and it was sad. I know, it was kind of weird because not being so much in that Nintendo space anymore, but still kind of still kind of hanging around. I'm still familiar. I watch the directs. I'm like, this dude's been there for a while. For a large, obviously, if I was born before, obviously he became president of the company, but through a large chunk of that, of his guidance with Nintendo, I mean, I was saying earlier, we kind of felt his hand in all that, It was his decisions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was actually saw it on the internet. I was at first I was in shock. Not like in shock, like wow. But it was shocking. I saw it in a post on Tumblr, and I was like, wow. I was like, what the hell, So I actually went to one of the Nintendo website, outlets, news outlets, those third-party ones, and yeah, it was there. And then I went to Yahoo News, and yeah, just fully further confirmed that, and yeah, it's kind of sad. As you said, not to undermine him, in shape or form. Obviously or at least myself, I was more acquainted with other like, for instance, Mr. Miyamoto and everything. And Iwata, as you mentioned, I've known of him just since the, like halfway through the Wii era. But yeah, it was sad. Especially because I personally did see his image deteriorate in the last few directs. I could see how he was losing weight and everything, and I don't know. Even though the official word from him was that he was better, there was something that I wasn't, something that was striking me as odd, the way that he was looking, and one of those things that you're like hoping for the best, but you're just kind of like, So it wasn't really that much of a shock. It was kind of a little bit expected, but it was still surprising.
The guy was 55.
Yeah.
Can't totally out of left field.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I didn't see this coming.
Yeah, I gotta say that he definitely did not look 55.
No, he didn't.
He looked pretty young. Japanese culture is a very traditional, and they know how to turn back the clock, man. They look very good for their age. But anyway, so we wanna obviously do this little podcast in his honor, which we are doing, and recap a little bit about his life. Well, at least his professional life. We don't wanna do the whole thing with his personal life because I didn't look at any of that. But as you guys know, he was president of Nintendo Japan since, what do you say, 2002? And he was appointed president of Nintendo America in 2013. Before that, he worked for a smaller company. I'm not sure. I know he worked in HAL Laboratories, but I don't know if he was before his tenure at Nintendo or he was working while being on Nintendo. He was working at HAL, since HAL was second party programmer for Nintendo. And from what I read here and there on the internet, he was responsible for maximizing the potential of games like Pokemon, the programming, for the old Game Boy,
Yeah.
Maximizing the programming for those games, to bring more content to them. He was also responsible for Kirby, the first Kirby. He was one of the first few programmers. One of the first. He was working with the first Kirby team, creating the game, and then he was also responsible, or part, working with the team that brought Earthbound. Also.
Oh, nice, Mother, sweet.
Yeah. We know he, as president, he was responsible also for the rise or re-rise, I guess, because I don't consider it a fall from grace by Nintendo, from the Super NES era to the N64 and the GameCube. I definitely consider it a failure, but
there was a change in direction.
There was a change in direction, yes. And with as president is when the DS came about, the Wii came about, and that's when the company just skyrocketed in popularity. And also he saw obviously a small decline again with popularity with the Wii U, or more like struggle. I don't want to say decline in popularity because the company obviously is still very popular. It's just a struggle in the blue ocean view that they had, and yeah, he during the Wii U tenure. A lot of people gave him grief because the Wii U struggles. And yes, there was some mistakes made by Nintendo. Him being the president, of course, everything falls on him. But I don't think he's the only one thinking there.
Oh yeah.
He might be the lead decision maker, but he's not the only one thinking behind the whole machine of Nintendo.
But he charged the course, obviously, where they're going to go, which is interesting. I'm jumping ahead here a little bit. With his rather untimely, it's never time to pass, but in the midst of things with the NX, how, if anything, does that change? Because I'm guessing it was probably his kind of lead focus there, and with whoever else gets picked that position, does any of that change? How does it change?
Yeah, right now the people that are in charge of Nintendo in the meantime, until a new CEO is appointed, is Miyamoto, and I forgot the name of the other manager. Also, there's the two main managers. They're the ones that are taking care of the company while a new CEO is appointed. But yeah, going back to him to how during the struggles of the Wii U, he did what really what is unheard of, at least here in the West. During the first year of the Wii U, the first or second year of the Wii U, he took a 50% cut, a voluntary cut. He felt personally responsible for the poor performance of the Wii U, and he took a 50% cut, something that is unheard of here in the West, in the Western economic culture. Here on the contrary, they give themselves raises. So it's insane. He was a great man. I've been reading posts left and right. I read a post on Tumblr about this one person who I'm assuming he works at Nintendo of America, that said that every time that he would come over to Nintendo of America, he would change his profile, his greeting on the 3DS, and he would change it to "Hello NOA."
Oh, okay.
Some kind of personal, and he was very amicable.
Well, it comes through. The president of Nintendo put his own face on the directs. You see, that's a guy. I don't know anything personal, but it's a guy who's kind of having a little bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly, and you can see that fun that he had, it trickled down, maybe by decree or by policy or by suggestion. It trickled down to all the subdivisions of Nintendo, the regions of Nintendo, because he wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one showing his face. When the Nintendo's Direct started, obviously he was there. But then all the other CEOs for the different regions, the other two regions, Europe and Nintendo of America, Reggie, and I forgot the gentleman for Europe. They were also in the directs. So they were as heads of the regions. They were also doing the directs and in a very friendly and amicable manner as well.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. Thoughts or ideas? Oh, you were mentioning a tidbit earlier about him being.
Yeah, he was. Just trivia at this point. He was the first. I'm probably going to butcher the name, but the original family owners of Nintendo, Yamuchi, I think. I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly.
Yamauchi, yes.
Yamauchi. But obviously he's not Yamauchi, he's Iwata, but he's the first outside the family to have been appointed president, only up to this point.
Yeah.
And so that was interesting, an interesting course change, Nintendo there.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, before Iwata, with Mr. Yamauchi, and all the predecessors, Nintendo's always been and it's still a very tight company, but it seemed like it became friendlier or more open from the PR perspective with under Mr. Iwata.
I hope they continue that.
Yeah, let's hope to continue that legacy. I mean, I remember back in the N64 era and the GameCube era when I would see about E3 and Comic-Con and stuff. It was always Miyamoto. I mean, it's still like that, but when Iwata took over, he was also going to those shows. And it wasn't just because to me, like I said before, Iwata, all that I knew, I never knew that Mr. Yamauchi's name. I didn't even know I always thought that Miyamoto was the head of the company because he was the one showing his face everywhere. I never knew that he was just somebody under. And with Iwata, I mean that changed. He put his face out there. And like we say, he was very amicable, very accessible person from what I've been reading all around the internet and stuff. Let's see. And like I say, he was getting a lot of crap, so to speak, because recently because of the Wii U's performance. But I mean, he had great ideas, and there was a lot of mistakes done that I don't think he should have ever been blamed for. Well, I always thought about that. He wasn't because he was the head of Nintendo. Obviously, his head was the first one to roll. But I think that the mistakes were done globally by all departments, PR, research, whatever. Whoever came out with a Wii U name as opposed to Wii 2 or Wii HD, kind of like
Super Nintendo 2.
Exactly, like Super Wii 2 or something like that. I mean, whomever came out with all the stuff. I mean,
it was a combined effort
to
fail.
Well, yeah, so it's contradictory, but yeah, it was a combined effort of failure. And I think the board of Nintendo also saw, at least partially, felt the same way as me because he was never removed from office. I mean, the shares kept on going down, and every time there was with investors, I mean, instead of asking for his head to roll, they still had trust in him.
Yeah, they had faith, and that says a lot because usually, it's where the money is. If they didn't think he was going to make money, they would have cut him loose.
Exactly.
And I was one of the people who was like, they need to change management. Obviously not this way. But it's as unfortunate as it is. We'll see what happens to Nintendo. I'm sure they're going to obviously keep going strong. Hopefully stronger.
Hopefully stronger, yes. There's a couple of tidbits here from, let me see, like in Tumblr, that he was solely responsible, as a programmer at the beginning, he was solely responsible for porting the battle system from Pokemon Red Green to Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, wow.
By himself, and he did it in a week, according to this post, He was going to help, Pokemon Gold and Silver. He compressed and optimized the game's code such an extent that they had room in the cartridge to add Kanto. So, like I said, he was a great programmer. He optimized those games. He worked in, as I mentioned, Earthbound, Pokemon, Kirby. He also worked in. I was reading also in Legend of Zelda, Mario games. I mean, I think he was the one that pushed for Mario Maker to be brought forward. Because he wanted us players to expand our creative ideas, just like he was a programmer. He what's it called again? He took a 50% cut when he became president. When the problems with the Wii U. There was one post really cool. I thought it was. I think summarizes his whole positive demeanor and attitude as a person. It became a cliche, the whole "please understand" thing, but it was the truth. He was begging for people to understand that there are circumstances beyond our control that sometimes do not allow us to succeed, or we struggle because the success of any product is not just about being good and having potential and people buying off the shelves. I mean, there is so many variables that people need to consider, and that's why he would ask for people's patience in that regard.
Marketing.
Marketing,
You look at Xbox. They totally floundered in that first E3 for the One.
Oh yeah.
And their market share plummeted, and they've never recovered that. It's a good system. I mean, arguably, the case for all the others, for sure. But that's just an example of marketing. And that the Wii U was such a marketing failure.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, he had a very positive attitude. I remember I saw this. I can't find the post anymore, but it was a post that in one of his Iwata asks, he was talking with this older person, and the person Iwata was remembering about when he first was working in this older company. He just walked up to Nintendo to ask for a job, right? He had read that they were working on a new console. It was the original Famicom. And that he wanted to get a job at Nintendo, so she walked out into Nintendo, and he asked for a job to work on the Famicom, even though he had never worked on a console before. I mean, he had make a few games, but he had never worked on a Famicom, so he never knew. He didn't have he had never worked on the development kits or anything that Nintendo was distributing. So he just went and asked for a job on the Famicom, saying that he wanted to make games for it, even though he didn't know anything about the Famicom. And the guy said, "So you walked into Nintendo and asked for a job to work on the Famicom, even though you didn't know anything about it?" And the guy I said yes. And that's how the post ends. And I mean, basically, and the rest is history. He got the job. Show the potential he had, the drive that he had, and where it took him.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
I am at an end, my friend.
Yeah, again, really sad, our, it sounds like a cliche, but obviously our thoughts and prayers go to the family, to the Iwata family, and all the people out there in Nintendo who were close to him that, that are experiencing firsthand this loss. And let's hope that the legacy continues, that the good ideas that he had continue, and whatever quote-unquote mistakes might have been made in the past, that we can learn, or they can learn from them, so that way they can enrich and continue his legacy as time goes on.
I do want to say, I mentioned earlier, is I am amazed and impressed by the overwhelming support by the community. The Miiverse platform, which I thought was always kind of weird, is more often than not a very welcoming place, and the way they handle the news has been awesome. The drawings, the pictures, kind of like same thing like any social forum. The writing people said there. So I'm very very pleased and proud about what they've done.
Yeah, that's
what they've shown.
Yeah, definitely. Even though, like I said, there was a lot of jabs to him. It's sad that he had to die for most people to actually recognize what he has done. Not that he wasn't recognized, but it's like the old cliche. That somebody can do 1,000 things right, but they do one thing wrong, and that's what everybody notices. And that was his case. He did 1,000 things right through his almost 20 years, 10-year working from Nintendo and as a programmer. And it was just he just took the Wii U to people, badger him and everything. And it was sad that now people again feel the love for him and recognize his lifelong work now that he's gone. But anyway. That's what happens.
That's the way of things.
That's the way of things. All right, anyway. I hope you guys enjoy this podcast, especially this podcast. If you have any comments, feel free to put them in the comments below. Please subscribe and hit that share button. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, thank you very much for watching.
Sorry we had to come to you under such unfortunate circumstances, but do look forward to more content in the future.
Yes, most definitely.
Peace out.
Until then, we are signing up. Yeah. Why not, right? Directly to you.